So, let's jump right into a riddle, but this isn't just any old riddle from a book. No, this one comes from a divine being in the middle of a dark forest. It's a riddle that once you solve it, turns out to be a complete map of the human mind, and, believe it or not, the path to freedom. We are about to unpack the Vammika Sutta, an ancient story that is also one heck of a psychological mystery.
Okay, so picture this. We're in the Andavana, which literally means the blind forest near Savatthi. And here a monk named Kumara Kassapa is just sitting, deep in meditation, all alone under the night sky. It's a place of total darkness, just waiting for a little bit of light.
And then, bam! Out of nowhere, the entire forest is just bathed in this brilliant, incredible light. A deity, a divine being, appears right in front of our meditating monk. And this being hasn't just come to say hello, it's here to deliver a puzzle, a message that holds the key to some serious wisdom.
And there it is, the first line of the riddle. It's weird, right? It's memorable, and it immediately makes you think, wait, what? An anthill that acts like a tiny volcano, smoking when it's dark and blazing when it's light out? What on earth could that mean? Well, the puzzle has just officially begun. So, the deity doesn't stop there. Oh no. It keeps adding more and more layers to this mystery. The riddle now gets a couple of new characters, a wise teacher called the Brahmin, and a wise student named Sumedha. And the Brahmin gives a very specific and very strange command.
This is the core instruction, the central mission. The student, Sumedha, has to take a sword, a tool for cutting, for taking action, and just start digging into this bizarre anthill. The journey inward, right into the heart of the riddle, starts now.
So as the wise one starts digging, he doesn't find, dirt or treasure. Instead, he starts pulling out this series of totally bizarre and seemingly random objects. A door bolt, a pufferfish, a fork in the road, a sieve. And each time he finds something, he shows it to the Brahmin, who just says, throw it out and keep digging. With every new object, the mystery just gets deeper. So after dropping this absolute bombshell of a riddle, the deity just vanishes, leaving our monk Kumara Kassapa totally stumped. I mean, wouldn't you be? He knows there's only one person who can decode a puzzle this deep, the Buddha. So he goes straight to him to ask, what is the anthill, and what is the deal with all this weird stuff hidden inside it?
And now, we get to the part we have all been waiting for, the great unlocking. The Buddha doesn't just give a simple one-word answer. He goes through it systematically, deciphering every single piece of the riddle, and reveals that the whole thing is this brilliant allegory for the spiritual path.
First things first, the anthill itself. The Buddha explains that this mound of earth, well, it's a metaphor for our own physical body. Think about it. It's made of the four elements, earth, water, fire, and air. And it's temporary, it's fragile, and eventually, it's subject to decay.
Okay. But what about the whole smoking and burning thing? The Buddha says that smoking by night is our inner world, all our thoughts, our plans, our worries, just churning away in the dark. And burning by day, that's when we take all those thoughts and put them into action. It's that endless cycle of thinking and then doing.
Now let's look at the cast of characters in this little drama. The Brahmin, the wise teacher, that's the Buddha himself. The student, Sumedha, represents any of us, any spiritual seeker trying to figure things out. And that sword, it's not a real weapon, it's noble wisdom, the kind of insight that just cuts right through confusion. And the digging, that's the persistent energy we have to bring to the work. Okay, let's get into the stuff we have to dig up and get rid of. The first thing is the bolt. This represents avidya, or ignorance. It's the very first, most fundamental obstacle. It's like the bar that locks the door of our mind, keeping us trapped in confusion and suffering. Next up, the student finds a pufferfish. Something that just swells up when it gets agitated. This is such a perfect illustration of kodu payasa, anger and vexation. It's that feeling of being all puffed up with irritation, with resentment, with rage. And the Buddha's instruction is simple. See it for what it is, and toss it aside.
The forked path. Yeah, this one's pretty easy to guess, right? It represents vicikiccha, which is doubt. It's that mental state of indecision, of being pulled in two different directions, and just being unable to commit to the path. This kind of paralyzing uncertainty is just another obstacle we've got to dig up. Now, the sieve is a really fascinating symbol. I mean, what does a sieve do? It filters things, it separates things.
The Buddha reveals that this represents the 5 hindrances, or pancha nivaranani, a set of core mental states that basically cloud up our minds and filter out any real shot at clarity or wisdom.
And look, these might sound like some ancient abstract concepts, but they are things we deal with every single day. First, there's sensual desire, that constant wanting, like endlessly scrolling on your phone for that next hit. Then, ill will, which can be anything from quiet resentment to full-on road rage. Third is sloth and torpor, that heavy, foggy feeling when you just can't get off the couch. Fourth is restlessness and worry, that anxious, buzzing mind that just will not switch off. And finally, doubt, which we just saw as the forked path. These 5 are basically the static that messes up our mental signal.
What's next? The tortoise. And what a perfect metaphor. A tortoise is made up of a bunch of different parts, right? The shell, the head, the limbs, all making up one thing. This represents the 5 aggregates of clinging, the 5 components that we mistakenly bundle together and label as a permanent, solid self.
So let's break down this tortoise of ours, piece by piece. First, you have form, that's our physical body, the shell. Then feeling, the raw data of pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral sensations. After that is perception, which is how our mind labels those feelings. Good, bad, I like that, that's a threat. Fourth, we have mental formations, our habits, our biases, our intentions. And finally, consciousness, the basic awareness of all the other parts. The problem, the Buddha says, is that we cling to this whole bundle as me and mine, and that clinging has to be abandoned.
The imagery here gets even more intense. Next up is a butcher's knife and block. This represents the 5 strands of sensual pleasure, all the things we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch that we find desirable. It's a really powerful metaphor, isn't it? A butcher's block is a place where living things get chopped up, just like our own peace of mind gets chopped up by relentless craving. And finally, the very last thing to be dug up and thrown away is a piece of flesh. This represents nandiraga, which is delight and lust. It's that raw, visceral passion, that intoxicating enjoyment we get from our senses. It's the fuel that keeps the fire of craving burning bright. So, all the obstacles have been removed, all the junk has been dug up and thrown out, the digging is almost done, but there's one final discovery waiting at the very bottom of the anthill, and it comes with a completely different set of instructions.
After all that digging and discarding, Sumedha finds a cobra. But this time, the Brahman's command is a total 180. Let the cobra be. Do not harm it. Show it respect. Whoa, this isn't an obstacle to be removed. This is something else entirely.
And here it is, the stunning conclusion, the twist at the end of the riddle. The Buddha reveals that the cobra, the nago, actually represents a fully enlightened being, a sage whose inner junk, whose defilements have been completely and utterly destroyed. After digging past ignorance, anger, doubt, and craving, what you find at the very core is the awakened mind itself. It's pure, it's powerful, and it's worthy of reverence. It's the goal of the entire journey.
So you see, this ancient riddle isn't just some clever little story. It's a practical, step-by-step guide for investigating our own experience. The anthill is your body. The sword is your wisdom. And all those obstacles, those are just states within your own mind. The entire journey takes place right here, right now. And the final treasure isn't gold or jewels. It's the enlightened potential that's already lying within. So the only question left is, are you ready to pick up your sword and start digging?